The next question is maybe somehow related to this, which I heard a lot about. It's the puddle analogy. Maybe you can explain it and tell me what do you think about it?
Yes, well, conveniently, sorry, I just remembered that we sort of did both things. The name of the article I just mentioned is called The Trouble with Puddle Thinking, semicolon, a user's guide to the anthropic principle. It's available online for free if you look in the right place on the archive. The puddle analogy, let me actually read it out so that I don't mess it up. It's a famous-ish quote from Douglas Adams, who is an English novelist who wrote a wonderful book called The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I recommend very highly to you. So here's what he said. It's actually from his book, The Salmon of Doubt, 2002. He said, quote, this is rather as if you imagine a puddle waking up one morning and thinking, well, this is an interesting world I find myself in. Of course, his world is the hole that he's in, right? An interesting hole I find myself in fits me rather neatly, doesn't it? In fact, it fits me staggeringly well. It must have been made to have me in it. This is such a powerful idea that as the sun rises in the sky and the air heats up, and as gradually the puddle gets smaller and smaller, frantically hanging on to the notion that everything's going to be all right because this world was meant to have him in it, was built to have him in it. So the moment he disappears catches him rather by surprise. I think this may be something we need to be on the watch out for. So the idea is the puddle thinks that this hole is just perfectly the right shape for the puddle that he is. And what he doesn't know is that actually, you know, he's just a puddle in a hole. And so this is supposed to be something that is analogous to fine-tuning. The problem with the puddle analogy is that it's just not analogous. Given the fact that holes are solid and water is a liquid and gravity pushes down, it is always the case that a puddle is the same shape as the hole it's in. The shape of the water and the shape of the hole are always the same. If that was analogous to fine-tuning, there would have to be some sort of explanation that said, given something, it's always the case that life fits perfectly to the universe that it's in. Now, the problem with that is it's perfectly easy for us, as I just showed, to make a universe with no life in it at all. You just make it so that every particle is a bazillion light years away from every other particle. So in other words, it's perfectly, you know, it's not sort of physically possible to make a puddle that isn't the same shape as its hole. Whereas it's perfectly possible to make a universe that can't have any life in it, where there wouldn't be anyone in there going, oh, this universe fits me perfectly, doesn't it? So I think that's where the analogy fails. And again, we explain that in a bit more detail. Geraint, I should say, agrees that this puddle thinking is not a good answer.